Hi guys and gals, Froggy here. This is my RX350. It's a 2012. I'm going to do an oil change. I already have one video up, but it was shot with a different camera and it was really not that good, so I'm going to do it over again. And what I'm going to do is jack the car up and do a tire rotation. So this is oil change, tire rotation, and I'll probably top off the windshield washer fluid, maybe have a look at the battery, and do a few other things. So here we go. Let's get it jacked up in the air first. Okay, here's the front. I can show you that there's a couple of frame. Well, it's not really a frame. It's a front structure where it probably cradles where they mount the engine and the transmission. Anyway, I put some little cut pieces of 2x4 under those parts of the frame, which are very strong. And while I'm here, let me show you. There's your oil filter right there. We're going to get to that. And right there, where my light is shining, there is the drain plug. Okay? So let me show you the back. In the back, I went under, it's got coil springs in the back. The bottom of the coil spring is on a suspension piece, very strong. So I put a little piece of wood there, and I jacked up there, and same on the other side. So now I can get all my wheels off and rotate them, and I can do my oil change. So we'll kill two birds with one stone here, as the old saying goes. Okay, I got the lugs off all around. Froggy has an air gun, so this will take you a little while if you're doing it by hand. Sorry about that. Anyway, it's a 21mm socket, and the first thing I do is I mark where I'm putting the tires to. See, it says to the right front. I'm just going straight up and straight back. Now I'm going to inspect all the tires and for unequal wear or unusual wear, and I'm also going to do a brake inspection while I have them all off, so I'll see how much brake pad I have left, and I'll show you that. This is my right front. Now in the middle is my rotor. You can see my rotor right there. There's my outer pad. Looks good. It's got a little taper to it, which is okay. That comes with the pad, that taper, but it's very thick. There's my inner pad, which is a little bit harder to see. Right there you can see the taper. That dark little spot there is the taper, but again it's got a lot. There's a better shot. Outer pad, rotor, inner pad is right there. You can see the backing plate. So that's good. The rear pad is a little bit different. You can see the rotor is just like a single right there. It's not a double rotor with vents in the middle. It's a single, but the pads are good again. Let's see if I can show them to you. Well, you'll have to take my word for it, but they're good. They're on either side of the rotor there, but the lighting there, you can see that one's got some thickness to the backing plate, and the other one's about the same. I won't show you all four, but the brakes are looking good, the rotors are looking good. There's the oil drain plug. I already loosened it. It's 14mm. Starting to drip a little bit now. I'm trying to make my pan there. I put my pan up on the jack a little bit so that I think that it'll catch this oil better. There we go. Pretty good. Okay. Now that oil looks pretty good. It's been about 5,000 miles. That's what I like to do with my all my Lexus cars, and that's what the manufacturer recommends, I believe, is 5,000 mile intervals. And I use full synthetic. On the older one, I use a synthetic blend. All high quality oils. There are a lot of good oils. I'm not going to get into different brands of oil because that's, you know, people write a book about that. But now, we'll let that drain a little bit and we'll get to the filter, which is right there. Now that's just a 3/8 drive ratchet, which I have right here. So maybe I'll open that up. And then there's a little plastic thing you stick in there to make it drain. Let me go to two hands here for a second. Now this little cap comes off first. That's what I put my 3/8 drive in, and that leaves a spot for you to put this little plastic plug in, and that will like pre-drain the filter. And this is a Toyota filter for a Lexus or a Toyota, whatever it fits, and they give you the drain device, and they give you new gaskets, of course. Now if you go and get your filter somewhere else, I don't know if you'll get all that stuff. You should definitely get, there's the filter, you should definitely get the gaskets. I don't know if you'll get this piece or not. So I'm gonna need two hands to shove this in there, and then that'll drain the filter. There, it does take two hands to get it in there. It's a pretty stiff little piece of plastic, but now that's draining the filter. And I did pull up the dipstick in the engine compartment so that there's not a vacuum that's caused when I try to get the oil out. You want to vent it up at the top because these systems are sealed pretty tight these days. So we'll let that drain for a while, and when it stops draining like that, when it gets down to like a single drip, then I'll put my oil filter wrench on there and take that cap off, and then there's a cartridge filter inside. There are two gaskets. There's a small one where this draining device goes, and you can replace both of them. This one was doing its job. I didn't have any drips or anything. And now I'm going to put the other tool on and get this part off. Okay, this is the this is 64 millimeter oil filter removal piece, and now you can see that is going to come off. I'm going to need two hands. I've got that loose. So give me a second here with two hands. And that's your other big O-ring right there. And that filter just lifts out. There's the old O-ring. And the new one I'm going to put on there. And I'm going to need two hands to get that around there. But it's just an O-ring. It just goes in the groove there. There's only one groove for it. And the filter, Froggy's trying to balance everything here. There's no top or bottom to it, so the new filter goes in like so. And it's got a little spring. It's got a little spring in there. That's okay. The O-ring is going to go right there, and then I'm going to put this right back up there. I don't even have to take this tool off. It'll come off easier once I screw it back up in there. So let me get it started. Alright, O-ring is what does the sealing, and this, you can turn this for quite a while, and once it gets up there and it starts to give you some resistance, don't be a gorilla. Don't put it too tight. I've got, you know, a pretty long ratchet on here, so I'm just going to go like that, and that's it. That's all I need to do. I'll get this off, and we'll do the draining piece of it. There. Here's the main drain plug. I'm going to reuse the gasket. That's right there. See if I can get my fingernail under it so I can show you. Well, anyway, I'll do a little close-up. There, it's right on there. And again, don't over-tighten this, all right? You'll strip the threads out of this pan here, and then you'll have to put this. There's a way you can repair that without putting a new pan on there, but just don't over tighten it and you won't have a problem. Now I'm going to get the wrench on there. Now this was stuck on there a little bit, so what I did was I dried it as much as I could, and I took a paper towel, put it over there, and as I pulled down on this lip, I tapped it around the edge with the handle of my ratchet. Just not hard, not banging it with a hammer or anything. Just tap and pull, tap and pull, tap and pull, and that should come loose. Okay, if you have that problem. Now I get this old one out of here. Come on there, and I'll put the new one up there. Tighten that up again. Don't over tighten it, and then we'll be done down below. Okay, there he is. Wipe everything off, wipe all your drips off, and we're done underneath. We're done underneath, so I'm going to put my tires, my wheels back on there and rotate them, and then let the car down before I put the oil in. Don't forget to put the oil in. Okay, wheels back on. I haven't been torqued yet. Let me give you one little heads up. If you're going to switch between two services, like a tire rotation and an oil change, and you're switching back and forth a little bit, make sure you keep track of things, like whether the car has oil in it and whether the tires have been properly, or whether the lug nuts have been properly torqued. Lug nuts are torqued. I looked up the spec because I wanted to be able to tell you guys and gals what it was. And it's apparently 76 foot-pounds, which to me seems a little low for a vehicle that weighs this much and for the size of the studs and the lug nuts. I put mine at 85. You can do what you want to do. Officially it's 76. So there you are. Anyway, time to put some oil in this and start it up. Oil goes here, and I'm going to use a funnel, and there is a baffle in there, so don't pour it in too fast or it'll overflow. Okay, I'm going to put in 6 quarts. It calls, I think with the filter it calls for 6.5, but I'm going to put in 6 and measure it with the dipstick. There's the message I was getting: oil maintenance required soon. And as I think I told you guys and gals, it goes off about every 5,000 miles, I believe, on a Lexus. There's no oil pressure gauge, so when I start it up I can't look for the oil pressure to come up, which is too bad, but that's what it is with modern cars. So I guess we could just look to see if there's a low oil pressure warning light or something like that, which there isn't. I'm going to go look for leaks underneath. You always want to do that. No leaks, so I'm going to shut it off now and check the level. I checked the level. You're not going to be able to see it on the camera, I don't think, but it's about halfway between the top button and the bottom button, so you really can't tell very well with the camera, but you can see the 2 buttons there, or 2 dimples. So I'm going to add another half quart to bring it up to the top, and call it good. Okay, I'm up to the top dimple, and I always put a bottle of Techron fuel injector cleaner in. I don't have one in my cabinet right now, so I'll have to make a note to myself to get one of those and put it in. Also, it should go in a full tank of gas, so, well, this one's about 3/4 tank, so it'd be okay. So that's about it on the oil change. I'm going to add some windshield washer fluid right there, and check the brakes. I checked the brakes. I'm going to check the level of the brake fluid, the DOT brake fluid, and I can't really see it on the camera. Hold on. Okay, now you can see the brake fluid level, and if I light it up from the back side, you can especially see it's about halfway between max and min, so that's good. I pulled the cover off the battery, so I'm looking down at the battery fluid level, and the plates are all covered. It might be a little bit down, but not really too bad. I might dribble a little bit of distilled water in there. And let's check the air filter. The air filter is right here, and very convenient the way they designed this. And this side here, you can only see a little bit of dirt there. It looks very clean. This is the intake side, and that's the exhaust side, which should be clean. Now, why is it pretty clean? Well, these SUVs sit up pretty high, and the air comes in. It doesn't really suck dirt off the road very much like my Corvette. So these filters tend to stay pretty good. Also, this does not go off-road or into any dusty areas. So, brake fluid, air cleaner, battery, windshield washer fluid, and let me look at my checklist to see if there's anything else. Right here, one more place to check is the coolant bottle. And you can see that orangey reddish color there. It's almost up to full, so they're good there. In between the marks is good. That's it under the hood. Just got to check my tire pressures, and I check them before and after. Well, after of course, but before I had two 29s, a 30, and a 31. So that's pretty good, close enough. I'm going to set them all to. I'm going to use 33 all around. The placard calls for 32. I'm going to put a little extra in there. Now that you've done your own oil change, you want to reset the oil change indicator clock, if you want to call it a clock. So get in the car, press the ignition button twice without starting up, and you're going to get in the middle, you've got your odometer, and to the left down below where my thumb is, that's what switches to trip 1 odometer, trip 2 odometer, or regular odometer. So right now we're on trip B, regular odometer. Trip A is what you want right there, and leave it there, and then hit the button and turn everything off. Now you have to hold down that odometer button while you turn the car on, and this is where it gets tricky, because I'll have to take the camera off, so it's going to look funny for a second here. I'm holding it down, I'm going to the switch, I'm pressing it once, twice. So I pressed it twice. You see the little blinking dots? 4, 3, 2, 1, bingo. That's how you reset. That's how you reset your oil life monitor. That's the best way to, I like to call it oil life monitor. Okay? So now, there's also some tracking that goes on with this, if you have this navigation thing on the screen here, but I'm not going to get into that. That's complicated enough to require its own video. But the main thing you want to reset is the one that's right on you in the middle of your dash. Okay? Now let's actually set this back to regular mileage. There. Okay, so that's it. It's a wrap. I have shown you a full 35,000 mile service, not counting if you go off-road or in dusty conditions. Then there are some other services that you're supposed to do. 95% of the cars, the Lexus on the road, don't go into those conditions or get driven like taxi cabs or police cars. So this is your basic 35,000 mile service. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up or a like if it's worth your time, and subscribe to Froggy's channel if you want more from me. I'm always putting something up, 1 or 2 a week, sometimes more. Sometimes I'll go a couple of weeks without if I'm busy with something else. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys and gals. See you later. Bye-bye.